Hi, I'm Jess. I'm going to take you along for a realistic day here on our off-grid homestead on 46 acres in Northern California. I have some stuff to do in the kitchen today as well as outside in our brand new garden bed that Colton built. I did some work as well. Not as much as him for sure, but I'm really excited to get planting, and that's where my job comes into play. He is at work today. He provides most of the income for our family, and then I run things here. So I'm gonna take you guys along. I'm excited. Might seem boring to some people, but this is the life we dreamed of, so let's do it. So to start off, I'm wet rendering some beef tallow in the kitchen. I do this so that I can use it for my legs. I have really dry skin. While I let that cool, I go ahead and prepare my raw carrot salad for the week. I really like to add fresh herbs to this. Right now, all I have is oregano. Cilantro would probably be my preferred, but this'll do. Next, I pop upstairs to check on my seedlings and actually to plant a couple more seeds, some lettuce, holy basil, parsley, and bok choy. Then I go and check on the chickens who just got moved into a big cardboard box. They were fighting some coccidiosis, so I am just trying to keep them inside a little bit longer until they're well. My indoor to-do list for the morning is complete, so I head outside and I was immediately greeted with rooster chaos, which honestly just makes me laugh so much. And then I headed over to our brand new terrace garden that Colton mostly built on his own. I did some help with the fill dirt. So this first year around, we are doing a square foot garden to maximize space. This really just is working so well for the way that I think in order to get the maximum amount of yields per square foot. I was pretty worked after bending over that long planting carrots, so I came in to make a cup of hot tea with Tulsi basil, and this is actually some butterfly blue pea that I grew in Florida and dried and brought with us. One of the first lessons I learned here is that there's always something else to do, so just take the tea break or whatever your version of tea is and relax for a second. While I drank my tea, I soft boiled some eggs. I rendered beef tallow again. This is a multi-step process, and checked on the bone broth that we have boiling. At this point in the day, I realized I had not yet taken the dogs on a walk. So on a daily basis, we walk over to our spring where we have a solar pump that pumps water into tanks for our home. And we also have an irrigation tank that collects water from a culvert that we use a gas-powered pump to pump the water from down below up into the storage tanks. After finishing my girl lunch, I needed to feed my sourdough starter. I have plans over the weekend where I'll need lots of happy starter, so I did a big feeding. And I actually took the discard and used it to make my favorite crackers. If I have time, I will always try and use my discard right then instead of refrigerating for later. These crackers are great because I already have everything I need to make them. While those were in the oven, I went ahead and set aside the seeds that I need to plant today. Our hens just started laying a few weeks ago, so it is absolutely still very exciting for me to go collect eggs every day. I love hanging out with the girls, so I let them out to free range and took a moment to rest because I was crashing out from my coffee high. After the girls were up, it was time to head back to the garden to direct sow the seeds that I had set aside earlier. So one thing I am already really enjoying about this method of gardening is I can go ahead and get random things in the ground while other things are still upstairs in their seed trays. And it still is exactly where it needs to be versus kind of playing a guessing game, which is what I did with my original garden in Florida, which, just for notes, was a terrible garden. I had absolutely no full sun. It was just all in all a fail. But I'm really enjoying that I can go ahead and get random things planted in their square and I don't have to worry about it not being in the right place. A little backstory on the roosters. So we ended up with 3 out of our first bunch of chicks, and I love them and I didn't want to get rid of them. So we got to thinking about it and realized they would be great for our orchard up here. We have like 13 fruit trees in total, but this is 4 of them that are fenced. So they do a good job of keeping the little beetles away from the trunk, and they also fertilize the soil in the surrounding area. So They're a little bit drama sometimes, but if you're anything like me and just don't want to cull roosters just for being a rooster, and have the space for it, this is actually working out really well for us. We have a ton of Jeffrey pines on our property, so I went to this little area where there's nothing but pine straw fallen to collect some to use for a bed down by the house. I'm doing this to kill off an invasive grass that's growing near our grapevines. At this point in the day, it's time for me to start cooking dinner before Colton gets home from work. I decided to do kind of a cornbread stack with chicken and sweet potatoes.
I'm still chewing.
Once he's home and we finish dinner, the evenings are pretty much about winding down. So we're heading off to put up the chickens and stopped for a quick firewood lesson along the way. He's trying to teach me how to chop wood. I really want to learn, but it is just not easy.
No.
Today
stop.
wasn't the day I figured it out, but I'm confident that I will. We've been struggling with these chickens to get them to roost on their bar at night. They often will just go to sleep kind of on the ramp here. So I have been manually putting them in there just before dark to try and help them learn.
Oh, you got one escaping.
Ducky, come back.
Where are you going?
After we've wrangled up the roosters and put them in their coop for the night, it's pretty much game over for us. We headed back inside to strain the bone broth. He always helps me with this because my Dutch oven is so heavy. And then it was off to bed. Thanks so much for watching a realistic day on our homestead.